going to use a miter saw to cut these pipes. And one of the things, the miter saw actually swings down and cuts the pipes. I have a 1.5 inch PVC pipe here that I need to cut. What I'm going to do with the miter saw is first you have to mark off the piece of pipe and then support the ends. You can see these ends have been supported so it doesn't dig down. And then the next thing I do is to actually put a clamp. Once I make sure the pipe line lines up with the blade, I bring it down and make sure it lines up. I put a clamp right next to it. Generally, if you're using a miter saw, you don't want to keep it on the ground. You're supposed to bolt it down to a workbench. But in this case, there's not a lot of force that I'm using to cut the pipe, so I haven't had any issues with it. But if you were cutting wood, I would definitely try to do something different. And always make sure you keep it unplugged till you're ready to use it. It's just a safety feature when you're mounting pipes on it, when you need to reposition and clamp things down. Make sure it's disconnected. You never know when it might kick on. Wear safety glasses and earplugs also. This section of pipe right here is 8 inches. You want to always cut a short piece from a long piece. If it's less than 10-12 inches, you don't want to try to cut it on a miter saw because you can't support it adequately and clamp it down. So you always cut small pieces. If in the event you make a mistake, you may have to scrap the piece and go cut a new one from a long piece. I haven't made a mistake yet, so let's start cutting. It's really a clean cut, a lot cleaner than if you used a saw. And that's why I spend the money for this miter saw. It's definitely worth it if you want to reduce the amount of deburring. So I use a file to deburr it. And what that means is taking the excess plastic off the insides and the outsides. You can also use a deburring tool to do the same thing. But either way works. Blow the debris out or knock it out. Make sure it doesn't remain there. You don't want it mixed in with the glue. I have to flip this around. Right now this is unplugged. So I just have to make sure this is lined up. And make sure you support the heavy sides. You know, I have a piece of wood supporting this side. If it were longer on that side, I would do the same thing. And I usually put 2 clamps. If you have long sides on both sides, I clamp both sides down. Since I have a section on here, I'm going to clamp this down too. Now you can do these cuts with a hacksaw, you can do it with a pipe cutter. You don't need an expensive miter saw. I bought this one used, but I want to do my work fast.